All right, let's talk a little bit about energy balance. It's one of those areas that's a little bit confusing and not necessarily straightforward. We do look at energy as a calorie burn type situation, and a lot of times it isn't as straightforward as it seems. But it is important to have a strategy in hand and to be looking at how much energy you might be expending relative to how you're eating, how much food's coming in. So when we do the cardiometabolic testing, we get a metabolic profile on an individual. So if you came through the test, what we would do is we would just show you a couple scenarios on how you want to match your energy balance according to your goals. So again, none of these are going to be completely accurate, but we do base at least the exercise part of this on your profile during the test. So a certain heart rate and a certain calorie expenditure rate. And then what we'll do is with this Tinker tool here, we'll kind of come up with scenarios. So if based off of your current body weight and perhaps your lean mass, we can estimate your resting energy expenditure here. That's what you burn when you do nothing all day long. If you come in for a resting metabolic test, we get more specific to you instead of just a calculation. Again, even though we do the metabolic testing, it is an indirect measurement. It is also not without potential error, but typically it's going to be a little bit more reflective of your actual energy expenditure. We can also just add in according to your life, work or lifestyle, or sedentary, moderate, heavy work type lifestyle. And that's just another calculation to predict what the expenditure is from the other activity. And then we can add up your time in zones. So if we know your zones, heart rate or power type zones, power would be more reflective. We would just kind of track based off of that other chart where we were looking at energy expenditure at different heart rates. And we could put in your time spent in the zones. So this may be an individual who's gone through an hour run and more on the moderate to light side. So we've got 20 minutes in each of the zones. So here we add up time in zone according to that expenditure rate, and we have maybe a little bit more individualized calorie expenditure rate. So here we have the potential benchmark, or what we're shooting for or adjusting to your expenditure for the day. So what we're trying to encourage people to do is every once in a while kind of get a snapshot of different types of workout days, and then actually record and monitor during a period of time, 3 or 4 or 5 days, what the intake is matching up with that. So in other words, if we're doing a certain workout, this could be a very long endurance type workout where you're getting another 90 minutes here in zone 2. If this is a runner. And so we have an idea of how many calories you're burning throughout the day. So what do we want to do? Typically we're going to try and match that calorie expenditure if we want to optimize performance. If we're trying to get some body fat off, we may try and go a little bit lower. So typically we're going to go no more than 500 calories less on your intake recommendation than what you're actually burning. So in this case, we just plugged in 500. We may decide on 200 depending on what the need is there and where we are in the training process. But again, you don't want to underfuel, especially by too much. 1,000 calories wouldn't be unusual to see, or more, for endurance athletes when they're training a lot. They're usually 1,000 or more calories under what they're actually burning. And that does have a deleterious effect on your ability to adapt to the training stimulus. So again, this is a little tool we just want to take these little snapshots. We're going to talk about macro breakdowns and maybe periodizing the diet, but here we're looking at the energy balance. We don't want to underfuel. And obviously, if you're trying to lose weight, you can't be burning more than, or I should say, you can't be eating more than you're burning. And ideally, you're going to want to try and keep this around 500 to 1,000 calories below what you're actually burning. And then you'll take an inventory a few days, see what your actual diet intake was, and then you can compare the two and see how you need to adjust a little bit.